Good freaking morning, evening, afternoon, nighttime, wherever you are in the world, anime fans. Welcome in. Welcome to our ongoing discussion series for the hype, the intrigue, the specula, as we used to say back in the Symphogear days, the speculation on the fourth Madoka Magica film. That is right, we're talking about Walpurgis Nacht Rising, Walpurgis no Kaiten in Japanese. This is the Madoka Magica film that is coming out, hopefully worldwide. We still don't even know that. In August, on the 28th of August, is the full locked in release date when you will be able to go see it in theaters, whether or not you have to fly overseas to Japan to do so and watch it without subtitles. Well, that's a different story. But all of that aside, right now we have new info. Not only do we have new info, we have the most info. We have all of the info. In fact, we have an amount of info that leads me to believe that we are being misled deliberately, because of course we are. Because why wouldn't we be? Because that's of course naturally what's going to happen here. So, we are going to break down. This is it. This is the final trailer for Walpurgis Nacht Rising, and you can see a lot of things. They're showing their hand on a lot of things that were teased in earlier trailers, which we will get into. In this channel, for those of you that are new, I break down visual storytelling of my favorite anime and video games, and that includes some 16 and a half, now more closer to 18 or 20 hours of me talking about Madoka Magica. And you can go find the full breakdown series. If you have not seen them, please go before August the 28th, go watch the entire series. Go watch Rebellion, and then come back to YouTube, watch my shot-by-shot breakdowns of the entire series. Each scene, each line read, each music track. We talk all about the semiotics, all about the themes, all about the genre references. We go shot by shot on that. And that will inform you and lead you up to our predictions of this final trailer for this film, which, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be the final film. I guess we can't really say that anymore nowadays, can we? Interesting to think about what they might do after this, because we've been waiting for this film for so freaking long for now. And I will say that, like, it's clear that the film is done. Like, this trailer, more than anything else, said to me that, boy, we have all the line reads in. We have all the animation done. We are ready to go. We are just ramping up the promo materials, and we're seeing more of that too. That was something that we knew the anime was not coming, because we didn't see any like cheap plastic trinkets that you could buy for 1,000 yen available anywhere. But now we're starting to see that more and more. So, yeah, we're good on this one. This movie is finally, after 3 years. What has it been now? 3 years. This movie is coming out. So, I'll be there day one. I'll be wearing my Madoka Magica shirt, and you can come see me at the theaters and talk to me about it. And I'll have a lot of content for when this movie releases. You're going to be talking to a lot of my friends, people that have said things, interesting things about Madoka Magica and the magical girl genre as a whole. With all of that gilding the lily done, let's get into the juicy bits that we have in the trailer here. I've got OBS on a download of the trailer, and we are going to go frame by frame here. And boy, boy, do we have stuff to talk about immediately here. Now, okay, the entire conceit of Madoka Magica was that it was a play, right? That it begins and opens with the curtain opening and closing, right? So it should not be that foreign of a symbol that we have here, this ostensible bird cage on this roof. Looks kind of like the roof of the academy that we saw before, but not exactly. I think it's really a nondescript roof, so I wouldn't put much emphasis on the place of where it's being held, but I think there's every reason to believe that the closeted cage, or the drape over the cage, is to symbolize the secrets that we are going to find in this movie. And I think that's very clear. I think that we've seen so much cage symbolism in the trailers leading up to this movie that I think we can really almost go into this assuming that perhaps we are going to be inside this cage for the entire movie, in the very same way that we were inside Homura's soul gem in Rebellion. I think that's a symbol that Urabuchi very much likes, that Shinbo very much likes. I think that everything we've seen in the trailers, we've seen Kyoko breaking out of a literal bird cage, right? We talked about that in one of my previous trailer breakdowns. We've seen Kyoko talking to one of the new girls. The new girls' names, by the way, Selma and She. And I'm not sure which one is which. I probably should have done the research before that, but that is the orange-haired girl and the green-haired girl in this one. And Kyoko and I'm going to say Selma is the green-haired one, just because I want that to be true. If that's not, go in the comments and comment and tell me I'm a fool and I should do more research before I make these videos. But we saw Selma and Kyoko talking in the same place as the scene in Rebellion when Homura talks to Kyoko. That was in a birdcage, right? And we've seen a lot of other just general symbology with bars and with locking behind bars. So if we can, I don't know that we can zoom in here, but we get a closer shot of this later in the trailer. But this bird cage has the Homucifer salamander on it. Salamander, pretty much always associated with Homucifer. It's seen all throughout Rebellion, all throughout the promo stuff for this movie. In the first poster, we saw the salamander, and we've seen it all over the place. And we have this astrolabe type thingamajigger on the bottom, which again, I should probably move forward and we'll see more info about this birdcage as we talk about it. But just the general idea that there's secrets going to be beheld, and very, very much I could see that, like, if Homura is atop this birdcage and then the Homura is below the birdcage, locking it in and balancing it, that this could be a representation of Homucifer's world that we are experiencing this story in this film. Very possible. All right, we're going to go through here. I also have a full translation of all the lines in the film, and we start off... This is the promise between Madoka and my promise. You know, the yakusoku. That's pretty straightforward. That was very clearly Homura's voice actor reading that. And yeah, we talked a bit about the new Amnec is the new company that Aniplex and Sony formed to deal with stuff like this. Again, all this stuff we've seen in previous trailers. The settings, the introduction of the Homura with the parasol happens underneath these arches of flowers. I did a bit of research. These arches of flowers are passion flowers. And that is not passion as love flowers. That is very deliberately not. That is passion of the Christ flowers. That is, again, purity, self-sacrifice, the idea of godhood, right? And yes, so devotion, martyrdom, etc. These are more Madoka flowers than they are any type of romance flowers. Okay, we've got our first line. That was clearly Mommy, just in the way that she delivered the line. Kini iru, to be interested in something, right? You're awfully interested in her, aren't you? Now, the next line that comes after that, Kaname Madoka-san, you're awfully interested in her. And then we get the shot of this Homura going to school. Now, a couple things. We've talked about this again. Go back and watch all the preview stuff for the other trailers that have been released. This is brown headband Homura. This is either a homunculus Clara doll dressed up as Homura, or it is some other fake representation of a Homura. This is some character either pretending to be Homura or like a lifeless Homura. So we've seen a couple different headbands to represent Homura. We have the black one with the white frilling on it, and we have this brown headband. But this one, we are led to believe is the Clara doll. We're going with that assumption. And that, of course, could be totally wrong. Everything we say in this video could be completely BS, talking out our butts, and not true in any way, shape, or form. But roll with me on this one. Fake Homura is... And Mommy notices that the fake Homura is interested in Kaname Madoka. This is kind of unsurprising. Whatever the Clara doll's objectives are, whether they're working for Homucifer, who we will see later is in trouble and bound in some way, if they're her agents, then we kind of understand that they would be proxying her, and they would be her XP, right? And they would necessarily be interested in Madoka. In containing Madoka in a normal schoolgirl way, if they're associated with her. However, if they are under the control of the other magical girls, or if they have different objectives, the Clara dolls or the homunculus, then they could still be interested in Madoka in breaking her out and returning her to the law of the cycles. That seems less probable considering what we see from the motivations of she and Selma later on in the... And this trailer really does make it clear kind of who's aligned with whom. But anyway, Mommy having the... It's funny because Mommy was left so without agency in Rebellion that I think I along with other people that were talking about this trailer, were having this idea of like, how are you going to get all the people involved? We have she and Selma. We have another character who we see in full detail in this theory. We now have the Clara doll / this homunculus, who is a participant in this. And we have another different Cube, who may be one of the other characters. We have Walpurgis Nacht, whether she's a character or not. We'll get to that. But are all these characters going to have time to say things in this movie? And more importantly, are they going to have agency to make interesting choices and be challenged in this movie? So is Mommy's role here simply as a viewer kind of lens by which we view the movie, and then we have her instructing us and giving us a bit of the exposition? Are we to find out, is she left outside of the plot as she is in Rebellion, and then we kind of come along with her and go through this journey and discover these revelations as she remembers things and gets used and then, comes to realizations? Perhaps. It's pretty clear that Sayaka has a bit more agency here, and we haven't heard any really good lines from Mommy and Kyoko at all in any of these trailers. So I have this fear that they will be kind of underutilized, except for the fighting and the battle scenes. Or just, being like, I remember, blah, 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 blah. We had a relationship one time, just like a kind of real static and just mind-controlled people. And that seems like a bummer. I hope Urobuchi can do better than that, although the script for this movie was finished a whole long time ago, so I guess we'll see. Anyway, Mommy notices that fake Homura is interested in Madoka. Okay, so there's another thing that I want to talk about very specifically for this type of narration over, or the line reads over certain types of thingamajiggers here, certain types of scenes that were being showed. We are being misled, almost certainly, and perhaps not to the degree that we may expect if you distrust everything that Shinbo and Urobuchi are giving us in this in this last trailer to expect things. But that was clearly Kyoko's voice actor, right? And that was clearly meant to be in response to what Mommy said about the homunculus being interested in Madoka. Now, that doesn't have to be true. Yeah, I'm gonna blow your mind here. Is that like, do you really think somebody would do that? Go on the internet and lie? But yes, yes, yes. So we are meant to read. Like, so let's go through this on the levels, right? We are meant to read these two lines in this exchange. You know, that Tenkose, that transfer student, and she was originally Sayaka's childhood friend, and you want to. We are led to believe that this is fake Homura. I don't even know. I guess the first level is that we are not meant to know that this is a homunculus or a Claridol or not aligned with Homucifer and not Homucifer herself. So we're meant to believe this is Homucifer. And then Kyoko is saying, oh, she's interested in or Mommy is saying that she's interested in Madoka, that Homucifer is interested in Madoka, and then Kyoko is responding, oh, she's a transfer student, and I heard that, or that Sayaka said that she was Sayaka's childhood friend. There's a couple things about that, because I think she could be talking about another transfer student, or I think that these lines don't happen right by each other in the actual film. And we're led to believe this is the opening of the film, which it very well may be, because obviously we're calling back to Madoka and, you know, episode 1, her walking with Hitomi and Sayaka, and that type of jazz. And obviously Mommy and Kyoko were not there for episode 1, and there was not Homura there, etc., 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 all that jazz. We're changing it up, but it's clearly a reference back to those and to the start of Rebellion as well, which seems like something they would do, like restart us back to this starting point and go from there. Let's go through this again. Hold on. So, Tasuka Motomoto. So she doesn't actually say Sayaka said it. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, she doesn't say who said it. There's no direct attribution that Sayaka said she was Sayaka's childhood friend. That would be interesting. Okay, so we have this shot of Kyoko saying something, right? But her lip flaps don't match the line that she's saying. Now, she very well could be saying that, right? That she's just, Mommy said something, and then, but this Mommy's line is like she's talking directly to someone that is awfully concerned about Madoka. And then Kyoko is saying, Kyoko is not talking to this third party. Kyoko is talking to ostensibly Mommy, but possibly somebody else. And so I think that's the deception, is like putting these two lines together and then saying that, and then showing us the shot of Mommy walking with Kyoko and then Homura out here in the light, that we're supposed to understand that as them talking about her. Could be true, most likely not true, right? So yeah, I think it's reasonable to assume Mommy talking is concerned about, well, Mommy could be saying that to anybody, because everybody's concerned with Madoka, because that's obviously the end goals. Madoka is the MacGuffin, right? So Mommy could be saying that to anybody. So you can't assume things, is what I'm saying, and I want to go through this trailer with that out loud. You cannot be assuming that this all goes together. So let's go with Kyoko's line. That transfer student, I heard she was originally Sayaka's childhood friend. So, if the transfer student in question is this fake Homura, then cool. Then it could just be, okay, you know, Homucifer made up the idea that she was Sayaka's childhood friend and seeded that with everybody's memories. Um, and then she transfers in as a transfer student to and is living this idyllic everyday life as we see at the end of Rebellion. What we see in the rest of the trailer is just like that. Either that doesn't happen or that doesn't last long. What I think happens first is the action sequence that happened later in the trailer, and then we see the this scene happen. So it would be bad to skip around, but what if we did? And you know what? It's my fucking channel, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. Okay. I want to take you to about a minute into the thing where we see the fall of Homucifer. This, make no mistake, this is Homucifer, obviously, right? This is Homucifer, but in some way aghast at what has happened, and in some way being triumphed upon or being laid low. And I guess you could get real Paradise Lost with it, right? And I'm sure that will be one of the references that we're going for here. But the one-winged angel, the broken, the fallen from grace. And so there is something in this movie that is more powerful than Homucifer. This is not, we called this a long time ago when we saw that first shot of Homura falling, when we saw that first shot of Homucifer being bound, right? This happens. Homucifer is physically defeated, not emotionally defeated like it's a, Princess Tutu Dance With Me redemption sequence, which I'm sure will happen, but that'll happen at the end of the movie. First, Homucifer is physically defeated, or power level bullshit scaling, whatever plot nonsense you want to say, whatever could break Homucifer's wings. And boy, that could be a billion things. That could be a lot of stuff. But honestly, I think it's the introduction of the two new girls. Why do we say this? I'm glad you asked. What is Homucifer? God, just love this shot. Look at this. The orange and the blue, right? And this is what we saw in the original, the first freaking poster that we saw, the theatrical poster with the different sides of the people in the heaven and the hell. Ooh, excuse me. And the orange and the blue. And we see Homucifer in the blue, realizing that she's upside down, falling back to the city. Right? And we have this line from the New Girls, pretty much Selma. I think it's Selma who says it, the green-haired girl. What is it? Yurus and I will never forgive her. Right? We'll never forgive Akemi Homura. So this tells us our first thing. Fuck, man. I am really gonna look this up right now. If Selma is the green-haired magical girl. All right. They don't have a picture of her, really? Okay. God damn it. Is Selma really the orange-haired girl? All right. God damn it. Okay. Shit. Yeah. All right. Yeah. 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 Selma is the orange. I will now go commit Sudoku because Selma is the orange-haired magical girl. So, this line is from She. This is my thought process, right? I'll never forgive Akemi Homura. We see a shot of Akemi Homura being shocked that she is defeated, and she's falling to earth from her sky, from her heaven, right? And before that, we see the introduction of Selma and She. Yeah. Boom. And they fall from the sky. And then there's this big monolith thing here. We see this reveal of whatever the hell this is. This is crazy, and the glare on this giant monolith thing. this is pretty cool. I'm interested to know what's going on with the giant monolith up in the sky. But anyway, she and Selma fall onto the monolith. And then we see the fall of Homucifer standing on said monolith on the edge of it, realizing that she's upside down and then falling back to Earth. As we saw in the previous trailer, her wings flutter. That's the whole black wings versus the white wings that we talked about in the previous trailer. This is the whole falling from grace and her being captured and overpowered. And this is apparently a very shocking thing for her, right? Like this is incredibly surprising that Homucifer could be outdone by these two random magical girls. So in either this is a thing, like power levels are bullshit. I don't know if you know this, and you can go listen to my Adolescence of Utna where I talk about like fight scenes, but like fights are not anything. Power levels are not anything. The reason one character is able to defeat another character is because the metrics of the world are judged by their purity of purpose or by their whatever is empowered in this world. And either that's knowledge, which I think is a very classic Urobuchi thing of a Keikakutori, right? Or there's some purity there, like an ultimate Madoka, right? Could obviously overpower Homucifer, right, at any time if she knew it, right? And then it's the knowledge, it's the emotional enablement, it's the that was the whole thing with the main series. Why did Madoka's wish go from saving a cat all the way up to what it was in episode 12? Because of the knowledge that Homura's efforts granted her. So these magical girls are somehow more informed or aware of what Homer's going on, and they've found a way to manipulate her and overcome her. And this is the whole reason I jumped forward to this scene. It's because we are led to believe that it follows this nice, tidy progression. I think this is one of the first things that happens in this film. I would not be surprised if, like, I don't know, after a tiny little intro sequence, these two girls falling into this scene, doing this right here, and then popping out and smacking the ever-loving fuck out of Homucifer is the first thing that happens in Walpurgis Nacht Rising. And we go from there. Because I think that's very interesting. I think that upsets the power dynamics, and then we have a much more interesting story where maybe Homucifer has to rely on the Claridolls, when she has to rely on Sayaka, when she has to come around and then be aligned with the other magical girls. And the end battle is Madoka redeeming Homucifer and forgiving her actions, and then the she and Selma are the antagonists. Okay? I've also made some predictions that Selma and she are not necessarily aligned together. However, we see them appear at the same time in their magical girl outfits. So at the start, or whenever they battle Homura, because I'm just going by the setting here, just up in the sky with these obelisks, and whenever they ostensibly battle Homura, because the line says, it's She's line of, you will not forgive you, could never forgive Akemi Homura, that this all happens at the same time. So, when Selma and she battle, they are aligned at defeating Homucifer. But I think if this happens at the beginning of the film, then the plot goes on, and we learn how Selma and she are not necessarily aligned. And we give a little agency to Sayaka for uncovering a lot of this. And we get a lot of intrigue on how Selma and she are able to just dunk on and just donk Homucifer. That's we've applied a lot of Pokemon TCG. Just donking, killing them before they even get a chance to move. Yeah. Let's obviously talk about something that I missed here. Right, okay. So Homura, I love this. She turns over and falls, right? And yes, falling from heaven, fallen angel, like all the stuff we're talking about, very obvious references. But at the same time, one of the comments that I really liked on your previous videos that you left on the previous videos, and I read all your thoughts and everything, and this, stay tuned to this channel, and this is what you get if you subscribe. One of the comments was about how the inverted parasol or sometimes the dress on Akemi Homura matches the Walpurgis Nacht character design. And I think that is very good. And I don't know how deep that symbol is going to run and how much weight we should put into that. But I think something like that is implied. We have kaiten, right? Literally the kanji means the heavens turning over, right? The upheaval, the revolution, making the top the bottom. And we can go so far on this symbol. Like everything that Homura knew, everything she built this world on, it must be inverted. Selma and she must have told her something or know something that proves that everything Homura based this world on was a fucking lie. And her world literally gets turned upside down. And that's how they invert her and defeat her right here. Why are we saying invert her and defeat her? Let's go back. Let's grab the other shot. Yeah, there's the Walpurgis. We'll get there. We'll get there. Because we have this shot. We have seen this shot all the fucking time. This was one of the first shots we saw in the first trailer. This is the shot. We talked all about the notes and the paper, the stacks, and we talked about the Clara dolls in the background, ostensibly that they are aligned with her. This is clearly Homucifer bound here. This is also, we talked about a Homura Prime, which I am kind of now 50-50 on of seeing this. Remember, we had a Homucifer bound at the bottom of the stack of papers, and then we have this shot of a Homura atop the stack of papers. And I forget whether she had the shield or the bow, could go look it up. But the idea that this is what happens after, obviously, Homura falls to Earth. Just look at the coloring of the episode, right? Just this is the same orange color that the city was when Homucifer got her mind blown and flipped upside down. Her reality literally flipped upside down. And she's bound at the bottom. And of course, somebody who defeats her would want to bind her. We could also use the tax, now that we know Selma's character design, that she uses pins. These look more like nails. These don't look like sewing pins. So maybe that's not the correct thought here. But there's this idea that probably she and Selma would bind her down here, if not the other Homura that was implied in the earlier trailers. So the other thing I want to say about this, the trailer goes out of its way to very specifically not give us the headbands of all the Homuras that we see. Yes, this first one, we see that she's wearing a brown headband. Past that, there are no other headbands. And yes, the one that we saw earlier was, this is clearly Homucifer. That's not, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That is Madoka's ribbon, right? But the rest of them we do not see. So that's the idea that we're not supposed to know which Homura is which. And I think it's reasonable to suggest that, yeah, there might be Homucifer, there might be Homunculus Homura, there may be Homura Prime, or any of these could be the combination of any of these. So let's continue with the going chronologically through the trailer, because it's been 34 minutes and we've only done the first 10 seconds, because that's the type of quality content that you pay me for. And if you'd like to subscribe, you go over to the Patreon. There's Patreon. What are the balloons? I don't know. I don't know that we found a symbol for these balloons. It kind of goes back to the earlier trailers when Mommy and Bebe and everybody are trapped inside something, and they are given like sweets to placate them. And there's the bear. We have that bear design, and those are all symbols that we saw in the latest trailer, I believe. If you go back, there's a couple mentions of that, but I believe these balloons are kind of associated with that. But I don't have a big reading on these balloons yet. Here is the shot we talked about in the earlier thing. So we see here the astrolabe. I suppose that's an astrolabe or a gyro, something or another underneath the birdcage. We see here that there's some degree of machinery inside the cage. Honestly, with the symbol of the rotary telephone, the old style rotary telephone, I'm pretty confident that's the rotary telephone. Whether, if you remember that first trailer too, we had Homucifer in her fancy, like, haute couture, fancy person outfit, and she was all smug and shit, and she was sitting on the stuff that looked very similar to this. And we had all those tarot card readings, we had all that stuff about the, about that type of symbology, and I think, like, this could be that setting. It could also be an abstraction of Homura's entire world, as we saw that the salamander is above this. But more interesting than that is this shot coming up here. Okay, we get somebody opening this, and we see a reveal of some type of hand. It looks to be... Okay, smash cut to another hand. I see you, Shinbo. I know what the fuck you're doing. Okay, it's not wearing a glove. This is just a hand not wearing a glove, but it is opening that curtain that is over the birdcage. So it's like, if we assume the birdcage is Homucifer's entire world, this could be the two other magical girls, she and Selma, coming into it. And messing with it, but that would put them like above the power level of the gods, right? And that seems weird, or we have to figure out how to square that circle. Yeah, and that seems difficult. All right, this is my obsession with the law of the cycles. Wait, is that? Did we get that line in here? Shuchaku. I believe that's obsession. I don't know that word. Shuchaku. I don't know how to spell it in Japanese is the thing. I think it's obsession, and we'll just go with that. Okay. So I guess you could again, if you put a read of a line over top of the thing that you're showing it, you're implying that the person who is on screen is saying that. And this sounds like Homura, right? Let's go back and listen to it again. Yeah, that's Homura, which is an understandable read. But I don't know that Homura would be the one opening either where Homucifer lives, or, because we've either associated this with Homucifer's area or Homucifer's world. So I really think this one is another deception. We have a Homura line, but the person peering into Homura's, whether this is her heart or her prison or her constructed reality, I don't think that's Homura. I think that would be somebody else. And the person I think that is this person. I think that this is the most interesting thing in the film. And this is such a Shinbo-ass thing to do. Of have the hand into the Wraith's hand. This person, the scene is this new person battling a Wraith hand, and destroying Wraiths, and you have the lines of people saying, a girl who isn't even a magical girl transforming and fighting Wraiths. No matter how you look at it, that's abnormal. Okay. So we have a lot to go on here. This is the character that was teased for many years now. We have not known who this character is. But let me go back and watch it. My first reading on it was that this character assumes a lot of elements of the Holy Quintet. This is pretty much right on as an amalgamation of a lot of characters. First, what do we have? This is Mommy's design on the corset and the breasts and the top here with the puffy shoulders. This is very Mommy here. What do we have up here? This is very Madoka, the hair and the eyes and the way the eyes are shaped. And then we have Homura's kind of skirt. Yeah, Mommy's skirt looks different than this, right? This is Homura's kind of skirt, the leggings, and this is Homura Prime's bow. Where is it? Where is it? She fires it here in a second. There we go. That is literally Homura Prime's bow. We can't ignore that. That only appears in episode 12. That is a symbol that only appears in episode 12. We do not see it anywhere else. We do not see it in Rebellion. I guess we see it in Rebellion when, Homura is getting saved and taking off to become one with the law of the cycle. She's holding it, right? But Homucifer does not have that bow. She never is associated with it. And it fires in the same way. Now, it's interestingly, it is a short bow. It is not the full long bow of Homura Prime in the new reality where she fights Wraiths. So it's again, just like the character design, it's like a mismatch or a mixing up of both Madoka, Homura, and Mommy. But do we see anything Sayaka or Kyoko about here? I don't really see that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I really don't see it. So maybe that could be very interesting if Sayaka and Kyoko are not involved. Because, like, what would make Kyoko different than Mommy? Or maybe we could just consider Kyoko to be the skirt here, because Kyoko's skirt does really look like that. But I think Homura's does too. Yeah, it's more Homura's than Kyoko. It's kind of Kyoko's. But anyway, I don't see anything from Sayaka's character design in here. Maybe? I don't know. Who has the back ribbon? That's definitely Madoka, right? I think Madoka's the only character that has a back ribbon. Let me double check. That's a very Sailor Moon thing, right? The butt ribbon. Madoka Kaname. Images. No? Does she have a back ribbon? Trying to find one of her in the back. I don't think Madoka has a back ribbon. Y'all, I don't think Madoka has a back ribbon. She's got side ribbons. Yeah, she's got side ribbons. She does not have a back ribbon. So who has a back ribbon? Does Mommy have a back ribbon? Yo, I am going down a rabbit hole here. Holy shit. Mommy, oh, I have fucking figures of them right behind me. I'm an idiot. I literally have figures of them right behind me. No. No. Guys, none of them have back ribbons. This is crazy. None of them have back ribbons. Kyoko Sakura. So, wait. If nobody has a back ribbon, then why does this girl have a back ribbon? This is very important. This is the kind of analysis that you get here. Why does this girl have a back ribbon? That's a fucking Sailor Moon thing, dude. That's a Super Sailor Moon. Yeah, that's Super Sailor Moon, man. That's such a interesting. Now I'm interested. I don't even think the new girls have back ribbons. Is this true? Confirm? No. No, they do not have back ribbons. Nobody has a back. Nobody in this fucking franchise has a back ribbon. Why did they just take the Super Sailor transformation and steal back ribbons? What is going on? I'm losing my mind. Okay. So anyway, this girl has a back ribbon. Um, this girl is the most interesting character in this entire film, figuring out what her objectives are, what her motivations are, and why she has elements assumed of the other magical girls is the entire thing for understanding this film. And to that end, um, we have a lot to talk about the scope of how this show is going to, or this film is going to go. And I think that, like, her being something more than meets the eye, as is implied by, hey, she's a magical girl who's fighting wraiths, but she does not, or she's transforming, but she's not a magical girl, is very interesting. And I believe her to be the person that is pulling back the curtain on Homucifer's whole nonsense. She could be like, we could go through speculation. Could she be associated with she and with Selma? Yeah, like, totally. Could she be completely opposed to them? I think the initial reading, or what you're supposed to believe, if you had to guess who this character is, she's Walpurgis Nacht, right? But I think everything about this kind of pulls us out from directly attributing a personhood to Walpurgis Nacht. And we will get there. There's some really good evidence about that. And also, like, directly, or resisting directly attributing the personhood to Madoka as well. So it seems weird that we would have this. Now, there's another shot. Oh man, where is it? Okay, here it is. This is a shot that's important right here. That this is the bow, right? Homura Prime's bow. And this is the glasses, horn-rimmed in the very same way. And they appear to be reddish. It's hard to tell with the colors, but they appear to be the same color as this girl's. They appear to be the same glasses. Now, that would mean this person is a Kyubey. What do we think about that? Oh, boy. Now, you could go the same way as Rebellion. You could say that Kyubey is trying to find a way, even though it has been completely infantilized is probably the wrong word, marginalized, destroyed. I don't know. What's the status of Kyubey at the end of a Rebellion, in that last post-credits scene? I don't know. But certainly not in a position of power and able to manifest into a magical girl, or something that is not a magical girl that still fights wraiths. There is a reason a Kyubey would want to. I could certainly see Urabuchi crafting up some type of contrivance that a Kyubey would want to obtain a magical girl form, and then use that type of trust or agency, or like get close to the other girls. I don't know. Have some type of plan based around that. Sure, that's reasonable. And there's an interpretation that, what if a Kyubey was constructing a magical girl, but it had no soul? All it had was that's mean to Kyubey. I don't want to say that Kyubeys have no soul, but if it were artificing up a magical girl, then what would it use? Well, it would use a random assortment, a collection of the powers, abilities, or costume design that of the magical girls that it did know about and was associated with. And that's possible, right? Like, that could be a reason why this girl looks like all the other magical girls. Although that strikes me as a little lame. I don't know. Is it just, like, not cool enough of an answer that a Kyubey transforms into a magical girl and fights with everybody. It's not something out of the realm of what we've seen from all the extended universe, right? But it would also mean that this Kyubey is cut off from the other Kyubeys in kind of a Yuki Nagato type thing, from the Kyubey Overmind, right? So I would wonder what that purpose is. And it would also kind of mean that the Kyubey, if this person is the person that opens up Homura's private area, this Kyubey is also somebody who interferes and has the power and agency to interfere with Homura's worldview, which I don't know that I think they're going to do or would be very interesting. We checked, and the kanji in the background is just Maju, the wraith, right? It's the word for wraith, which is what she's fighting. Now, the other thing that I would think about this magical girl is that she could be the homunculus. That the Homura in the past, another reason why you would have a character that has some attributes of all the other magical girls is if she's artificial, and if that's homunculus. You'd think that if the Claridolls were on the side of Homosifer, they probably wouldn't use Homura Prime's bow, or they wouldn't assume Mommy's traits and Madoka's traits. So I don't know, but that could be open to interpretation, or there could be justified in a million other ways. Yeah, and then we're back around at the reading that this character is Walpurgis. Which again just strikes me as a bad reading in and of itself. So it's like, yeah, if this character is a Kyubey, that's kind of boring. If this character is Walpurgis Nacht, that's also kind of boring because it like simplifies what is a very intense concept in Walpurgis Nacht. And then if this character is the homunculus, then I don't know. It's also kind of boring or not that intriguing. I would like some bullshit. I would like some real out of left field. She's a memory of all the collective good all the fun we had fighting witches back as a team. She's like nobody. She's like a figment of your imagination. Surprise. Fuck all your theories. I think that would be interesting. But your guess is as good as mine. Good theory. Okay, this is really cool. Boom, 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 boom. This is a cool scene. We can see that this is the same scene because of the setting, right? This is these three on the precipice here, and again, bandaged Sayaka. We'll get to that later. This is them talking across the board, to Homura. Don't misunderstand me. Kanchigai shinaide. Don't misunderstand me. I am on your side. That is what she's saying here. And we see the outfit of Homura Prime, which is why I'm led to believe is Homura Prime. Could be a really good representation by the homunculus, right? And also, once again, we are not given her headband. Homura Prime would be wearing Madoka's red headband, right? Like, that would be a clear symbol to identify that, oh no, this is Homura Prime come across time and space to come sort this shit out because Homusfer fucked it up. Which was my initial interpretation. And still could be true. It's just a bit more interesting that we don't actually get her thing. And Homura Prime, again, would be aligned with the actions of the other three, of Sayaka, Mami, and Kyoko, because they would want to restore the law of the cycles, right? They are her warriors and disciples. Even if they don't know that Madoka Kaname is the law of the cycles in this reality. Another interesting thing here is we have a Kyubey without glasses. This, again, could lend to This being Homura Prime, because once again, the last shot of episode 12, right, is her telling Kyubey all about, the last scene is her telling Kyubey all about the world of the past and everything. And so this Kyubey would want to restore that world. He'd want to manipulate stuff. He would come along with Homura Prime if she jumped into Homucifer's world through whatever magic bullshit. But if this is Homura Prime and not the homunculus or the Claridol aping Homura Prime, uh, then like that's another character. That's another character with agency, right? And perhaps like going back to this scene where they do the battle against Homucifer, that would be something that is not only valid but shocking to Homucifer. If her previous self came in and said, "You've done something wrong, you fucked up," and then betrayed her, like that would be this level of awesome, would it not? If Homura Prime is the one that shot her right wing off, instead of the other two magical girls, and maybe Selma and she could be accomplices to Homura Prime, right? Very possible. And again, that was my initial reading. That was like my first thing when that first video of this. We saw that. So very, very possible. Very possible. All right. What do we got? Yeah. Again, we go straight from her not talking to. This does seem like Anatachi no Mikata. That does seem like the lip sync line of like what she says, but she's also got this smug as fuck smile. So I don't know that this is like this is a deceptive smile. Maybe this smile alone pokes holes in my own theory about Homura Prime being the agent of chaos in Walpurgis Nacht Rising. Yeah, I don't know that episode 12 Homura smiles like that. Maybe. Or maybe there's another reading, I guess, right? And this maybe I'm too far deep down my bullshit. Maybe this is Homucifer pretending to be Homura Prime. And that very well could be. But with everything we see about Homucifer being destroyed and laid low, that I don't really think this movie is going to have Homucifer be an active participant and be a real mover and a shaker here. Like, Homucifer flaunting her power over the other girls was the end of rebellion. I don't think that's going to be this. And that would be really weird if Homucifer decided to use the Homura Prime look, which she's never been shown to do before, and then taunt the other magical girls. I don't buy that. Especially because we have this shot right here. Like this is a defeated Homura Prime, right? And this is very interesting. Okay, let's keep going here. That's a little in-depth Japanese. I had to look that up. There's nothing in this world that could harm me. This again seems to be her reeling, and again we can't see what headband this Homura is wearing. It's very frustrating. The scaffolding on building the roof of the academy, right? Like this is the remake films. This is the design on the roof of the school that they go to, right? And the places that they sit when all the scenes on the roof happen. But the scaffolding building that is a very interesting thing that would either put this, before everything, the events of the series, which very well could happen because we are talking about Kaiten, we're talking about the whole, the kind of the ongoing circle and how do you break out of the circle of the nonsense. So the timely-wimely stuff can be real confusing, or it could be an abstraction of Homucifer building the world and us seeing that it's still not fully built and that there's still cracks in the world and that Homucifer has not fully fleshed out everything yet as it was the first time around. And the line that nothing in the world can harm me, that just strikes like something Homura would say before something in the outside of the world harms her. You know, it's like just it's not possible. It could not exist. Man, all these cityscape shots look so fucking Evangelion rebuild that it's just crazy to me. I'm sure it's the same like technology or whatever, but that it's not the last time we'll mention Evangelion. What is this bridge collapsing? I don't know. Again, we have the contrast of the blue sky versus the yellow city. This could be in that battle scene where everybody falls from the sky, and then we're casting Homura down. This could be an after effect of that there's a rose garden up above the academy, and then it all collapses and goes down, and then Madoka turns into a car. Okay. All right, take a stretch. Take a sip of your drink, people. We've been going for an hour. And we're finally at the good part. This is Kyubei's line, and I'm going to read it to you. The place where all witches began. That is the role of this space. A fusion of multiple witches. An unimaginable accumulation of curses. People call that Walpurgis Nacht. Okay. So we have the rose petals. Again, I just made an Adolescence of Utena reference, and I just saw it in theaters last week, and it's pretty funny, but I don't know what meaning this has. I guess you could say the spider lilies, right? That are the Homura stuff. Or it could just be more associated with the unknown magical girl who wields the Homura Prime bow. Okay. Sorega Koko, and then we were shown the library. And I don't think the library is the accumulation of all witches. Maybe it could be an abstract representation of this. We've seen this a number of times. Again, go back and look at the previous trailer breakdowns where Sayaka discovered this scene. We're pretty set on Sayaka uncovering the lore of the previous magical girls, and this being functioning much in the same way as the library in Penguin Drum. You know, the revelation of the past. Okay, boy, did I do all this research for you. How grateful you are. Okay, this says Nazuka Sokotsune. Nazuka Sokotsune. That doesn't mean anything. And then this on the left says the place where all the witches began. Excuse me. Nazuka Sokotsune, that's not a word. That's just like 4 kanji in a trench coat. And I was like, I had to go to ChatGPT because I was like, what the flip are they saying here? Name mound. First thing. This one's name. Second kanji, mound, or like burial ground, where you where you bury people into a mound. All right. Bottom, lowest, root. Okay, there you go. Name mound bottom root. There you go. That's the place where all witches began, at the name round bottom burial root. Name mound low root. Now, is the name mound low root this area where we see the poof Kyubei appear? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know where the name round barrier root is. Obviously, it's got something to do with Walpurgis Nacht, because why? Because, well, hold on. We will get there. Oh, Yakuwari. That's the, hold on. Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The accumulation of curses, Walpurgis Nacht, right? Henkan no Kotowari, the law of the cycles. Okay? Enkan, that is what is said right here. Enkan no kotowari, the law of the cycles. Okay, let's keep going. I have the full translation here. Enkan no kotowari, that is a legend passed down among magical girls. It refers to the world said to be reached by those who are spent or exhausted, and to the god who rules over that place. It is the hope that magical girls see at the very end. Saigo ni mieru kibo. But Maho Shoujo ga Saigo ni mieru kibo. The magical girls at the very end, the hope they see. That is the law of the cycles, which right is but the other stuff is very interesting, right? We're talking about the law of the cycles, and we're said to be reached by those who are spent or exhausted. That makes sense with how we know that the life cycle of magical girls go. But and to the god that rules over that place. Kami-sama. I don't know this word. I assume that's to rule. Something kami-sama. Sasu, to point, right? To identify. So that is, they very directly reference and Soko. That is also the god of that world. So not only is the law of the cycles referred to as a concept, but also the god of that concept. Who is that concept? And you know the law of the cycles. You know Madoka. You know what you're in for. She's not a complicated thing. She's not confusing. So yeah, I just think that but in the way that this talks about the other stuff. So let's go on to the Walpurgis Nacht one. Hold on, let's go on. Walpurgis no Yoru, the night of Walpurgis. Okay, this reads, the stage setting witch, a symbol of the rotating fool, and a calamity passed down through history, an aggregate of unknown someones. This is a little more abstract and harder to read for me, but it's kind of poetic, isn't it? The rotating fool, exchanging the role of the fool back and forth between each other. That could be a very interesting thing. Calamity passed down through history. So we know that this is going to extend outside of the 12 episodes of Madoka Magica, right? That when they announced that the movie was going to be titled Walpurgis Nacht Rising or Walpurgis Nacht no Kaiten, it's going to be something more. Walpurgis Nacht is functioning here as much more of a conceptual disaster, a stage setting, Mitch. It is a collective body of unknown people. This is very much identifying Walpurgis Nacht as a force. And that is why I resist this notion very clearly that this is just Walpurgis Nacht. Because, yeah, we do see, in this series, we literally have a great example of a person and their apotheosis and to an idea and losing their personhood with the idea, but we don't have a way of going backwards. We don't really, and it doesn't invite us to read it as going backwards, in that an idea is conceptualized into a person who then has agency and acts out. So it's possible. I'm not going to say it's not, but at the same time, I don't love it. And here's another reason why. Look at these shots, which we kind of just glanced over, but we'll stop and examine now. Look at this. Look at this. We are straight up painter. We are doing a pan over literally a painting, a watercolor painting. This is like, look at this. This is background art. This is not animation. This is full on art design, man. This is one, amazing and beautiful. Two, probably our second reference to Evangelion, the Kaoru episode, and literally he's just off screen to the right here, and he's singing "Ode to Joy" on an angel statue. It's like, come on, what are you talking about? This is we tangified the world here. Um, oh boy. And then we have Walpurgis Nacht on the setting sun, and again, like, very actually Japanese symbol, like that's a Japanese flag right there with Walpurgis Nacht over top of it. Um, but also, as the setting sun and everything that entails, and the color theory, I think is another great thing that this movie is clearly doing so well, and that Shinbo took a lot of time to think about and get right. Yeah, I remember that quote. If you go back in my series, and the assistant director saying Shinbo just told him to go back in and make all the colors look better. Just change the colors around. And give it more color. And this is clearly a result of something like that. um, because we want to associate this red and this yellow with this like setting sun, which we've seen a lot of the time, versus the blue. And it's another color theory thing that's going to come up here too. But like, and the blazing full sun with the Walpurgis Nacht over top of it, like dominant on it, man, that's a so this is our initial point for bringing up this shot, is that it describes Walpurgis Nacht not as character, but as like mythological, like tapestry ass, like Legend of Zelda type deal, right? This is a fantasy rendition of something that happened. This isn't the girl that just transfers into your school. You know what I mean? Or maybe it is. Oh, okay. We get a couple here. Man, they go fast. If I can get them. Yeah, so we have different times, and the idea that Walpurgis always just showed up and burnt the fucking city down, right? Like, it always just brought about destruction, and very much what it did in episode 11, and how it functioned in the main series. And then the idea that we are led to believe, Walpurgis, boom, 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 that these girls are coming in to stop it. So like, okay, let's take a step back from all the theorizing. What's the broad read, or what's the surface level reading of how Walpurgis Nacht fits into this film? Homura contracted the world, reset the world, etc. She's got her own little play going on right now. She's mind bended everybody into believing what she wants to believe, and she's trapped the law of the cycles. Great. Okay. How are we thinking about Walpurgis Nacht if we just go straight off the edge of rebellion? That's an open question. Like, I'm pausing there to collect my thoughts, but the idea is like, no, answer it. Like, what is the initial reading of how Walpurgis Nacht would fit into Homura's world? Because it seems like something completely separate. The idea, of course, I think is how you would interpret it, is that even though Homura made her own world, she could not reset Walpurgis Nacht, or that Walpurgis Nacht is something that outstrips her, because it is not a person or a power. It is more of a concept, in the same way that the law of the cycles is a concept, that Madoka is now a concept. It is, you know, a collective body of unknown people. It is the calamity passed down through history. It is the symbol of the rotating fool. It is just humanity's collective errors or something. You can imagine Orobuchi just writing a Cube-ass explanation of all this shit. And very much like something that you can't escape, even if you rewrite the world, because it's something intrinsic to the world. It is ontological, right? It is a basis of being that Walpurgis Nacht will happen. Someone will play the fool, and they will end up as Walpurgis Nacht. And I think that's more broadly speaks to the idea of how witchiness was used in the original series of Madoka Magica, and that's why I kind of like Walpurgisnacht being incorporated back into this film, because I thought that that was a good idea to play with. And yeah, I know that Madoka, Ultimate Madoka erased all witches, and Walpurgisnacht is a witch. Like, absolutely, there is no doubt about it. Even though she's described as, a force of nature, she is a witch, and then would be erased by the Madoka's wish. And then that can put it back on. I think this is the very straightforward line that I would draw from Homura capturing a part of the Law of the Cycles, and then Madoka's wish erasing all witches, including Walpurgisnacht, is that, well, now you've taken away the Law of the Cycles, and now Walpurgisnacht, which is a natural consequence of magical girls and witches and all the time, and that Madoka did delete, but you've just captured Madoka again. Well, now Walpurgisnacht is back. And what's the thing that happened? Homura never beat Walpurgisnacht. She could never defeat Walpurgisnacht alone. That's the entire point of Walpurgisnacht, is that Homura's single-minded power and preparation and everything. That's all of episode 11. That's my entire episode 11 breakdown, is that, like, Homura can't do it alone. She does not have the power. That's not because, of course, she doesn't. Because you can't just, like, force your way out of anything here. So if that's the catalyst, man, there's clearly so many other moving parts in this episode. But if the catalyst is just like Homura took away the Law of the Cycles and now Walpurgisnacht is back because she did that, like, I think that's good enough. I think that's a fine surface level way of reading it. But it seems that Walpurgisnacht will be more central to this story than we are expecting, as it's literally the name of the film. So I don't think it can just be random plot device. You know what I mean? Like it is in episode 11. I think that's why we have all these lines of Kyubey and the other people saying, describing it as a fusion of multiple witches, an unimaginable accumulation of curses, and the place where all witches began. I think is very powerful and very important on that one. Because, like, why... Yeah, so Kyubey is saying the place where all witches began. It is the place known as Nazuka Sokone, right? And then Homura is saying a fusion of multiple witches, an unimaginable accumulation of curses. People call it Walpurgisnacht. So, clearly Homucifer knows about it. Or, well, it's Homura. It's the same voice actor. And we don't see who says it. So, who would come into the story... All right, come on, people. Come on, dude. I have to put it all together for you. Who comes into the story and has knowledge of what Walpurgisnacht is? Anybody? Anybody? And is voiced by Homura's voice actor. Huh? It would be Homura Prime that's saying that line, right? So she would know that it's an accumulation of curses, fusion of multiple witches, and people call it Walpurgisnacht. But the Kyubey knows that it's the place where all witches began, and we're back on the deep root depths. I don't know. I was playing a lot of Elden Ring. You tell me. The deep root name burial ground bullshit. This thing, Nezuka Sokotsune. So perhaps these are not related. You know, this could be another one of the deceptions, because Kyubey has this line about this place, wherever it is, but then Homura has the line about Walpurgisnacht. Now, he's put them back together in a trailer, and you think they're related. They could be. It's very possible, but it's also possible that no, they're not. Because, like, because all witches are born in this place, right? Or they all begin, Hajimari, right? So that's like the start of all witches. It doesn't necessarily follow that they all end up as a Walpurgisnacht. So it's like, well, if those two aren't together, right? And then it's like, and they are two separate things, then what influence do both of these things have on the plot? I don't know. I don't have a speculation of why this proper noun made up name thing. I wonder how they're going to translate this too. How this proper name thing is a, you know what I hate? I hate when they leave it untranslated. When they're like, translators know keikaku means plan. Like, you have to give this a name, right? And I know it doesn't fucking make sense. It doesn't make sense in Japanese too. It's just a bunch of, like I said, 4 kanji in a trench coat. But like, you got to give it a good name. And damn, did they do so fucking good with Law of the Cycles. That's such a good fucking name. That I trust. They got to come up with something like this, and I trust they will. You can go listen to my Madoka Magical breakdowns. You can hear my comments on the translation and the English versus the Japanese. Where are we at? Oh, so now we've got to the place that I already jumped to. Okay. Okay. Is that is not Homura saying that line? Right? Right. Okay. So this line is very powerful. Here we go. Let's listen to it again. Zetsubo kara tsukutta, the thing that saved me from despair. Henka no kotowari dake. The only thing that saved me from despair. Enkan no kotowari. What is that? That's the law of the cycles. This person, she, which we have done the research on, this is she, is ostensibly the person that is saying this. And then Selma has the next line. This makes sense. Her voice is lower, and I think people have matched up the voice actors because I'm not familiar with them. I don't know, but you could go look who's cast as she, and then you could match her other works with this work, which will become important later. We're going to get to that. Yes, stay tuned. We're only 80 minutes into this one. Yeah, so this is ostensibly she, and she is saying she is very mad in this line read, and she is upset that the only thing that saved me from despair was the law of the cycles. And ostensibly, Homucifer, you fucked that up, which she absolutely did, and she is now pissed. Now, why does she have the agency to jump into Homura's world and ostensibly shoot her down? Like, we have no fucking idea. But the other line read that we have right after this is Selma's line read. Sodayo, that's right. And you are that goddess, right? And clearly you would be talking to Madoka, and that's what the visuals imply too, right? And that she, or that Selma, we don't know that it was she, knows this as well. So again, this entire video is me saying you're assuming things that may necessarily not be true. We don't know that she knows that Madoka is the law of the cycles, but we do know that Selma knows that Madoka is the law of the cycles, which is very important. Because knowledge is power in a Genu Urobuchi movie, right? And we have this representation. Man, I love anytime Madoka is represented in an abstract manner. I am just like so in love with it. Oh man, the one painting in Rebellion where Homura like has her hands and like grabs the wall and oh, that's so pretty. All right. Okay. What do we notice in this one? This is the opening, right? This is the walking to school in the morning, going under the bushes where we see the Homura with the parasol, right? And in front of the fountain. This could also be, when we're walking to school and we have the mommy and the intro to this trailer, right? We have these trellises. Trellis, bam, I remember the word. Holy shit. We have these trellises. And then we have the same zoom in as when Madoka tries to remember that she is in fact the law of the cycles at the end of Rebellion in Homura's world with the whole turning around. And I feel like there's something more out there. It's the same zoom in, right? It's the same like lighting on her face. And it's also, what else do we have? We have a callback to earlier in the trailer when Homusifer was surprised and she was flipped upside down and she then falls. So this is an inverse of that. And if we can say that's the unmaking and the capturing of Homusifer in her world and her being cast down and laid low, then this way we are seeing that the sky flips up towards the top, that Madoka is doing the inverse. The ground is becoming the ground, and it's becoming the sky. She's going up towards the sky, and her apotheosis. And coupled with this line of Selma saying, "You are that goddess," this could be Selma's line revealing her previous role to her. Now, that's very interesting because we don't know when Madoka comes back into the show, or we don't know when this is all revealed. You'd think that if Madoka is reminded that she is the law of the cycles, then the movie's over. That's like, she's the ultimate power, right? All she has to do is remember. The whole idea, that's the threat at the end of Rebellion, that Madoka will again remember her wish and everything that happened and just wipe away all Homura's deception. And that's the entire climax. So if this is all Selma has to do is say, yeah, you are the goddess. You are the thing that the Enka no Kotowari, you know, the law of the cycles. But yeah, like clearly it doesn't happen here. But again, this is exhaustive. This walk to school thing is clearly not the first thing that happens, because this is like a climatic moment. We're revealing the whole Madoka thing to her, or she's like getting this revelation, or the threat of it at least. We don't know that it goes through, but it's also like, is this gonna happen at the beginning of the movie? You think this is gonna happen? I don't. So we'll keep pressing on. Oh, wait. Let me see that shot. Yeah, what is this? What do we have here? This is a representation of Madoka. We have her eyes outlined. This is some Gekidan Inu curry shit right here. And what do we have? It looks like a flower in a vase. It is a witch style Gekidan Inu curry stuff. We have the outline of Madoka, and we have the fire. Fire again associated with Homura. Her name means to burn, right? And then this fire inside of Madoka, and it having some type of witch flower design. Man, that's a tough symbol there. Goodness, I don't think a witch flower is something that we've really been associated with. It's not a Kriemhild Gretchen thing, which we would associate with Madoka witch. The fire again is not really associated with Madoka. I don't know what the eyes mean here either. It could just be artificial symbols for consumption, or like a burning passion inside of Madoka, the law of the cycles, trying to get out. I don't think we have enough information to interpret this symbol. So, man, I don't know. Look at it again. Also, we have Madoka wearing the red ribbons here. Interesting. Yeah, and then we have Homura being defeated that we jumped to earlier. And then we have, boy, we got this one right here. That is the main theme song. And that is Friction Junction. Fiction. God, oh, holy shit, I can't read English. That is Fiction Junction. And if you hear it, I'll let it play for like 2 seconds before I get copyright stricken on this video. Okay, what did you get from the one bar of Fiction Junction there? Huh? And from the name Fiction Junction, and from Claris's, gentle up and down, what is that? Your arpeggios, and you know your scales and your arpeggios. What did you think about that? One, that was fucking hopeful. That was Sagitta Luminous level. That was Mommy's thing. That was Credence Justitam level. That was oh yeah, we are soaring, baby. That is not a that is not a magia. That was positive. And boy, I love it. I think Fiction Junction and all associated like English theme covers are going right on my playlists. Um, boy, yeah, but I don't know. The other thing too is Fiction Junction. Yeah, that rhymes. That's not something anybody in English would ever say. But also the Okay, okay. Ooh, 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 ooh. I did some research and I found this quote from Yuki Kajira. Oh boy, where is it here? She said something very specifically, like she did not want to give away the goat with the music lyrics or anything. she was like, "No, I'm not telling you what's going on, right?" And that's super cool. Let's see. Okay. She didn't want the song to function as a simple answer key to the to the to the film. Wow, what a line. Oh, I'm sorry. Fiction Junction is the name of the people singing it? Wait, and not Claris? That's surprising. Hold on. Because that sounded like Claris to me. Or did they break up or something? And the name of the song is Achira, that way. Oh, okay, Achira, over there. Yonder, that way. Okay, cool. Interesting. I'm an idiot. Yes, the quote, these are quote marks in Japanese, you can see right here. And that is Achira. I have never seen that written in kanji. It's always just, written in katakana usually. Um or hiragana. Um Function Junction. Yeah, Achira. Yujikara, not Claris. Wow. Who is Fiction Junkin? Kajiura. Oh, so this is just who Kajiura uses for the cathedral fake Latin apocalypse. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. We are learning today. This is not Claris and I was a fool. What can I say? So yeah, this would be the same people that did, Credence Justitam, um, Fiction Junction. So I'm interpreting the this is the danger of overanalysis and dealing in shit you don't know. That you're overinterpreting the, the name of the band who is doing the opening theme song. Anyway, uh, that's the way, or the way forward, or over there. Yeah, beyond. Oh, it can also be read as. I'm sorry. It can also be read as kanata, beyond, across, the other side, in the distance. Interesting. There's two different readings for that, achira or kanata. Cool. So there you go. But anyway, yeah, it's Sagitta Luminis. It's it's Madoka healing the world. And let's talk about the visuals that we see here. Boy, do we see some action sequences. Mommy is destroying these spools of thread. Check this out. In this world. Just one more time. After one more time. Look at this spool of thread character. This doesn't even really look like a Witch's Labyrinth Gekidan Inukuri thing, does it? It kind of is like shaded correctly. It's actually together. This is a very interesting character design. I don't know whether this will be associated with the wraiths that are clearly shown to be in this film, or and this is like an early battle against the wraiths, or this is just eye candy, or like this is something different because it is in the same stylistic animation as the girls themselves, and not in a Witch's Labyrinth Gekidani Inukuri type style, which is also something that we've seen. Um, yeah, it's hard to say. That's interesting. Also, mommy, come on, what is? There's like there's fan service and then there's fan service, and like that's too many muskets. What do you do? Or I'm sorry, flintlock rifles. That's what these are. They're not muskets. They have rifling. Damn, she tore that thing to bits. All right, we do have some Gekidani Unukuri shit here too, so maybe it's I don't know. It looks looking more like a Precure monster of the day than anything else, isn't it? Okay, this is again a Witch's Labyrinth or something like that, and then Kyoko's throwing her spear. Cool, cool, cool. We see Octavia. Ooh, we see other witches mentioned too. Okay, these are the Anthes from is that Charlotte? Who's that? Man, damn, I don't even know. And then who are these? These are the mermaid familiars from Octavia too. This is interesting. While we know this design clearly to be Octavia von Seckendorf, right, and everything that we see matches that, the hands, especially this, are not what we saw with Octavia. Octavia always had arms that functioned just fine. So this is pretty interesting. I mean, they're bone hands, skeleton hands over here, and they're just emaciated like hands over here. So, huh. That's a weird one, and I don't know why there would be paintings of them too. But I love that Inu Curry's still here, still blowing our minds. And the introduction of Octavia, like I don't think anybody is expecting anything out of expecting to come into this film and not see Sayaka utilize Octavia in the same way that she did in Rebellion. Like that's like the entire point of Sayaka as a character post Madoka Magica is that or episode 12 onward is that she accepted her wishes that led to the creation of Octavia. She internalized them and she dealt with them so that now she has the full right to use that sorrow and her pain as a weapon, and she absolutely does and absolutely should because she told Madokami not to undo it. So yeah, and also that's the bandaging. We see Sayaka without the bandaging later on in the trailer. I mean, of course, we're gonna associate Sayaka removing her bandages, going into the library, uncovering all the history and everything that happened with Kyosuke, and then realizing that she has access to Octavia, and that's a part of her. So so like, of course. Okay, it looks like it is. See, they break out of these frames, and it appears that you can see the musical notes still with Octavia, but Octavia does have some type of transformation, and she apparently can use these hands, or maybe she gets her arms cut off in something. I mean, she got her hand cut off, so that's one thing, but that she can use these new hands as different things. I don't know what that means or why she would be able to do that. Also, do you see this ring here up by the thumb of the bone hand of her right hand and the face of Octavia? There's a metallic ring. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, this thing is either an abstract representation of a human female, right? This is very female coded, the shoulder length on this. Oh, and we can see the swell of a breast down here too. And we also, where did we see that before? We can associate that with this thing right here. So is this a protector of the library? Is it a random mannequin? Is it a default stand-in for other unnamed magical girls, etc.? Could be all of those things. The pose on it is pretty fucking awesome. Like, I don't know, the visual design on this film is already blowing my mind, so I will never make a comment that this looks silly or bad or oh, good lord. Um, but yeah, we don't know what the purpose is of this mannequin and it's kind of translucentness. Okay, we see the thumb again. Yeah. So it's got some type of blue fire. Seems to be possessed. It is hands downward like a puppet would. So this could be a representation of somebody being puppeted. This could be, a boss wraith that they encounter in the library, and Sayaka has to fight with Octavia. Yeah, I don't know. Not enough info. Yeah, it does appear to have some sort of face. Yeah, an open mouth. Interesting. Huh. Okay, we saw. Ooh, did you see it for a second? How do I go back a frame in NPC? Is it like shift back? No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Okay, we'll stop it this time. There we go. It is the exhaust fan with the eye in it, a symbol that we never landed definitively on anywhere, shape, or form. So there you go. We've got that. That's still irrelevant. Good luck figuring that one out. Is it the Claridolls? Is it something else? What does the exhaust fan mean? Why is it blood red? Man, we're in too deep. We're in too deep. The spiral staircase. Again, this is the birdcage motif. This is the kaiten, the revolving, the doing it over again. This is also not our first kind of Marudu penguin drum type feel or adolescence of Uden, or not adolescence, but just the Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant. The spiral staircase up or down. I mean, Shaft, you could also go Bakemonogatari, right? You can Senjo Gohara falling in the first episode. The spiral staircase. It's just a real workable symbol. So I don't know. I think that we've associated in the past, these the railings, not the railings, the iron to the that you can see on the side here, not the staircase itself, but the cage. We've associated with that with Homucifer's feathers. That's kind of the touchstone that we have here. So this could be a cage made by Homucifer to keep people spiraling. Who's spiraling? I don't know. Why spiraling? Probably because that's Homucifer's whole thing, is that she wants to keep everybody trapped and spiraling and going around in circles. And no progress going forward. So there you go. But also it's a match cut with the eye and the revolving of the fan. So maybe there's a Walpurgis Nacht angle to it too. Maybe there's if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, Walpurgis Nacht is going to keep coming and coming. Yeah. Oh, we had another match cut. Oh God, did you see that one? That took like a split second. A whirlpool. Oh, Lord. Oh, we don't have enough context to really understand this. Could be a million places. We've seen a lot of water. We've seen the Madoka going to visit Shi in the pagoda. That had a ton of water. We've seen Octavia naturally has a ton of water. We've seen the fountain with the parasol Homura. So could all be that, but obviously it's kind of just a thematic thing of there's going to be plenty of shots of things revolving and going around in this film that literally has the kanji for revolving in its name. Here we go. Okay, what do we got here? We've got Homura again. Can't see a shield, can't see a bow, can't see a ribbon in her hair. Which Homura is this? Fake Homura? Homucifer? I don't know. We've got the barbershop symbol on the right, the stripes, right? The again, a revolving symbol. Oh, it's on the left too here. And then we've got the blood red fans, all with the little eyes. These don't look like they have the eyes in them, but, also associated with being watched because we've seen it with a closed eye and an open eye in previous trailers. Being watched by somebody from the outside, whether that's the Claridolls, whether that's any of these other actors in this film. God knows. Also reminiscent of kind of just the episode 1 stuff, the Homura in the darkness and the red lights, the I think I talked about like robotic eyes. If you go back and listen to my episode 1.5 breakdown, um, the red points of light in the darkness when you're Homura trying to navigate through the darkness and there's danger all around you. Certainly a symbol for that. Okay, I believe that was the Maju. Okay, this is telephone. We've got the hearts. We've got no soul gems. Oh, excuse me. We've got Homucifer's soul gem. We've got the salamander. This is all regress. That's pretty awesome with the salamander. That's awesome, dude. Man, the small details. All of this is very Homucifer coded, of course, right? And then yeah, this is the wraith stamp that we saw before on it. And then we've got these these really low detail CGI buildings. I don't know what's going on with them. Whatever. You need a bunch of buildings. We need to slap them down real quick. These buildings here, and then you have giant fire coming along. What is going on here? This strikes me as the point in the trailer where you would drop a lot of the action sequences and the battles later on in the film without giving any context, so that you can use the action scenes and get people hyped, but not give away the goat. I think we should pause and check and see where we are in the script. You are that goddess. We'll never forgive you, Akemi Homura. So Nagisa has a couple lines narrating here about talking, I think, about all the other girls kind of broadly and just like scene setting. These are Nagisa's lines. She says, "Those who maintain their pride, even if it's foolish. Those who refuse to be broken, even if they are pitiful. Blah, 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 blah. For whose sake, and what is it that you want to do?" Those are Nagisa's lines. And I think that's pretty that's pretty powerful, and it's very representative of the space that this wants to deal in. For whose sake, and what is it that you want to do? That's the question to Homucifer, right? And that's the answer that we want to have. And if we knew how everybody is aligned and what they want, then we could write the script ourselves. And that's what Urobuchi is denying us, and what will be the fun of watching the film. Mo indayo. That's enough. So those who maintain their pride, even if it's foolish, that's when we see Nagisa resting in somebody's lap. Okay. I guess it's mommy. I don't know. It could be anybody. But I don't know that man, we haven't even talked about Nagisa. What is Nagisa aligned with? What does she even do? What is it that you say that you do here? Or would say that you do here? I don't know, Nagisa. I don't know, man. And we have confirmation that Ultimate Madoka will be in this film. It's entirely unsurprising. I would have bet all the money that I own and your and my lives on the fact that Ultimate Madoka would be shown in this film. But there you go. You have hard confirmation. There's Ultimate Madoka shows up, and she says, Madoka says, "It's okay now. It's enough." And she also has a line later when after they say, "Save Madoka, quick, hurry, save Madoka," Sayaka and Mami. And then Madoka has a line of, "It's okay for you to be saved too." Right? So like this is like in the trailer, in the continuity of the trailer, it's kind of like, yes, they're trying to awaken and save Madoka, but it's also like Madoka is here to save everybody. That's the entire point of Madokami. That is the law of the cycles. Comes for everybody. Oh man, we got a cool little shot of Nagisa there. Ah man, it feels so bad because it feels like Kyoko is just having things done unto her throughout this entire thing. I don't know that she's gonna have any agency in the show. I guess we'll see, and I hope so. I hope she's really cool and does cool shit. She was cool in Rebellion, I guess, but yeah. What is going on here? Okay, Nagisa has the cheese. Look, she's got a little cheese dagger. Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, I don't know what to make heads or tails of the designs on the city during this battle. There's all this frilly lace work, but then there's also color creeping into some of it and some of it not. Oh man, that's really tough to see. But I love that they broke out the railing here so you get the whole shot of Nagisa proudly holding up her cheese dagger. And she also looks like Nagisa seems to be unbothered. She does not seem to be sad or shocked in any of the scenes we see her. So maybe she knows shit that we don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Again, Nagisa and Sayaka were kind of the uh the real ones, the real angels of the Madoka. So maybe they are both in control. All right, so you can see Kyoko looking up here. Also, she got cool shoulders in her redesign. She got little puffy shoulders. Again, another reference to Super Sailor Moon. There you go. This is another spool of thread that we saw earlier. So we can place this as the same time as Mommy blasting all these spools of threads, which is, again, not surprising. And it's shooting down little spools of threads or little packages of something relatively cylindrical in shape. Doesn't look to be a wraith, because those have this race very specifically have this kind of masculine design of the, and this was the hand that we saw earlier. There we go. Like this is a man's hand, right? Those fingers are thick. That is somebody who went through testosterone puberty right there. That is a man hand. And that's not surprising because she's fighting a wraith, which is very masculine coded, right? And this is what we know of the wraiths. And I think that like we saw this shot of this girl, we would assume in a previous trailer, being held within the wraith's hand, like cradled within it. So I'm wondering if this is a wraith and this is not a wraith, the hell is going on? And why are Mommy and Kyoko and Nagisa fighting against these spools of thread? I guess the obvious connection here. All right, bring it back. This bitch is designed around a pincushion. She's pincushion girl. Where is it? Where is it? Give me a good shot of her. Look, she's got pincushion butt. So presumably, oh, she also has the bear in her wand. So there you go. That's the bear connection with the. I've said that Samantha Smeg, what is her name? What the hell is her name? Not she, but Selma. Selma. I've said that Selma is associated with the bear. She's associated with the sewing. There you go. She's associated with all the marketing materials and the other shots with Kyubey. She is evil. She is the final battle. She is the final boss. There you go. She's evil. She gets redeemed too. It's fine. It's a magical girl show. But she's got the, what is it? The Sarume eyes, the sharp eyes, the knowing eyes. You're looking at the face of evil right here. And mark my words, you know, everything we've said indicates that this person is going to be aligned against our heroines and a boss. And I think this familiar would be something that she would conjure. How she gets the power to be this, to occupy all of these other girls in their fight, that's a good question. Why is she so powerful? I don't know. She could be a Kyubey. She could be made a deal with a Kyubey. She could have glasses, man. She could be this freaking Kyubey. Where's the Kyubey that we saw earlier? She could be this Kyubey. She could be giving the weapon to the homunculus. She could be, I think there's a high chance that Selma is a Kyubey or empowered by the Kyubey in a way that the other magical girls are not. Could be. I think there's a high chance. Madoka Oscute, and we say that over the course of seeing Sayaka, Kyoko, and Mami. And then we're like, Hayaku, Madoka Oscute, like, save Madoka. And then we get this line. It's okay if you need to be saved too, right? And then ultimate Madoka's face. And like, of course. Of course. And we get the descending. Look at this shot right here. Oh, man, it was real quick, guys. All right, hold up. But this is a descent. And that's just a quick, like, that is where we are at with, oh, man, there's a lot of interesting things about this. Look at her hair. She's got a little Ryoko, a little Kill la Kill coming in. Holy shit, if they did a crossover and it ended up, like, a crossover with either another Magical Girl series or like Kill la Kill or something, I would lose my fucking mind. I would jump out of my fucking chair. I would scream in the theaters if it crossed over with another Magical Girl franchise. What am I talking about aside from her red hair thing? The descent. This is her falling, right? And this is her again being surprised. She's also blushing here. We also see her left wing. We don't know where her right wing is, so we can't place this after it was blown off. That could just be the red string of fate there, a symbol that is very much connected to Homura and Madoka. But also the way you put this in the trailer is that we have Ultimate Madoka and a full-on frontal shot of Ultimate Madoka, and then Homusafer looking at her as she's falling. And I don't think this is where these two shots are in the film. That seems very pushed together. But this reinforces the perception that Ultimate Madoka regains agency and then says to Homura, it's okay if you need to be saved as well. And like, I think I think obviously that's gonna happen. Like clearly that is something that we expect to happen. But then I think that maybe Madoka is saying this to a different character, maybe to Selma instead of Homusafer, after this Homusafer issue has been resolved. Yeah, and I think this shot could be from when Homusafer first falls. I totally think that's possible. You know, like she gets her wing blown off, and then we get this side shot of her collapsing, and then et cetera, or like Homura Prime reveals that she brought these two magical girls to take revenge against Homusafer into the world, and oops, one's a Kyubey, and then she's the ultimate bad guy, and you know, I'm crafting something here. Oh my god, what? We're too quick. We're too quick. What is the... All right, hold on. Let me ask ChatGPT. What is one frame forward in MPC? Control right arrow. Okay, I would have never in a million years known that. Okay, whoa, we got there. We got there, everybody. Damn, she really does have a Ryuko-ass... Ryuko, sorry, Ryoko, we're doing Tenchi Muyo now. Ryuko-ass red stripe of hair coming out of the left side of her head. That's wild. Okay, we have a grown-ass woman here, judging by her proportions, and a tiny bell. That's interesting. We are also in a church, ostensibly. Those are pews, and we don't have a stained glass back there. Man, this is wild. This is not something we've seen before. However, there is another shot of a bell ringing in the what you call it? In this trailer, there's another shot of the bell ringing in this trailer, and it has some sort of light to it. Man, I don't know. That looks to be the same bell, but we cannot... Is it the same bell? I don't know. It's got the same type of pearl in it, shiny, luminescent orb in it. Man, we don't have any information on the symbol. What is going on here? Is it a soul gem? Is it a... is it like trapping Madokami? Is that the symbol? Is it like the idea of Madoka's godhood? Oh boy, I don't know, but apparently a different. That could be the same person because we see the white on her robes. No, look down here at her at the cuffs of the thing. We see the white underneath of it, and then a black there. Whereas the sister ostensibly has the white cuffs and the black. Yeah, if her arm was outstretched, then the nun, and it does look to be a nun because it has a hood on there. Oh man, has a white thing, so it could be the nun holding the same bell. But what nuns do we have in the franchise aside from the stuff with Kyoko's backstory, which seems like a big stretch to be relevant here? And what adult women do we have? Because this seems not a young girl. Huh. That's very interesting. Okay, we got, and again, fucking Shimbo will do this shit, man. Look at this. Just hands. These hands are very important. This is ostensibly Homucifer. Why we have the ticker tape parade going on for Homucifer, I do not know. That could be the remnants of some witch or a battle, or Walpurgis Nacht, the carnival that comes around with Walpurgis Nacht. We have not seen that in any of these images, but this would match up with that, right? Um, if you put Homucifer in episode 11, and then this is Madoka saying, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it for you," maybe. Um, okay, then we have a reference to the opening. Good lord, this is this series opening when Madoka hugs and then does this with the uh, naked representation of herself in a very Nanoha reference, because of course in Shinbo. Um, but yeah, we have this reference. So a lot of hands going on. We have Sayaka's bandaged eye being visible again and then having two stars in it, which means that she's a 2-star Goku uniform user, and that's on the level of a club captain, and she's going to fight against Homucifer Ryoko, and it's going to be, oh man, did I put, holy shit, I don't think I put the Fight Club episode in my best of. I'm going through my best 30 episodes right now. I think I'm going to change it to the Fight Club episode and Kill la Kill. That episode's so good. Um, what are the 2 stars that Sayaka has been given her sight back for? Good lord, I have no idea. Yeah, it could be a Madokami and a redeemed Homucifer. It could be this, whoever Madoka is doing the hand clasp with, right? Sayaka is looking at them as 2 separate stars. Uh, man. She's got those nice eyelashes, Sayaka does. There you have Sayaka without any bandages on her face, and kind of a somber expression, which is interesting considering she's by having her bandages removed, and this kind of looks like Octavia in the background here, which would go along with her having her bandages removed. You think she would be a bit happier about what's going on. She also doesn't have the stars in her eyes in this shot. Interesting. Hard to say if it even happens after the same end of this shot. Yeah, this coloring in the background looks like Octavia, but she would be more resolute, or she would be more assured if she were summoning Octavia. So apparently something interesting is happening. We have Ryuko Homucifer here once again. Once again, you can see via the background, she's and her hair falling up. She's falling, and she is shocked. And we see the symbol of redemption that we saw earlier in the other trailers of the black feathers turning to white, which again, surface level read, or I'm sorry, the white feathers turning to black. And that of being like, how is that this is obviously not the purification of Homura. So yeah, like what is this? Is this the Madocifer. Madocifer. Yeah, is this Madoka falling? I don't know. We don't know. Um, there's the shot of the bells. Okay, so we have these heaven clouds, and there's really no other way to describe it. And then we have feathers falling off of them that are white and then turn to black. And we have the bells ringing, which is a symbol that we're not really sure about. Because we haven't seen this one as really represented much in the series or in Rebellion all that much. There were, of course, bells, but they were not really central as a symbol. Here, though, we have a similar type of random in the sky black beam monolith. It's hard to see because of the bright lights here, but this is very heaven coded, right? And we saw the black monoliths in the sky earlier, so perhaps they could be associated with that. The other thing I am initially led to think about is, well, we had the bell earlier. This symbol here could be related with this unknown character. I hate that we have an unknown character in this fucking film, man. This is a bell. That is a bell. And perhaps it's related to this bell, but we've also seen... we've also connected this before. The thing I would connect this before is either a wedding bell. Certainly, we could see that interpretation. Or we could see, this reminds me of the Adolescence of Utena. Once again, just because I watched it a week ago. And the bells are a heavy symbol there for the duel beginning and everything beginning and conflict and yeah. So, man, dude, your all's guess is as good as me, because these are not symbols that we've been accustomed to. Like the exhaust fans, we were all about that, but now you're throwing bells in there and like tiny little bell trinkets and nuns, and I don't know what's happening in the church, man. Is somebody getting married or what's going on? So instead of gay Buddhist processions to magical girl heavens, you get gay magical girl weddings. All right, this is the homunculus. We see the brown headband here. And we have what do we have? We have the Homura screaming of don't leave me here, right? That's what her line is. The very, very classic, very old Homura scream of please don't go, Ikanaide, right? And then we have the so that's associated with the and we can see here, this is not how Homura's hair functions. She has very straight hair, and this hair is curved in a way that Homura's hair never is. So that's how you can tell it's not Homura, and it's the homunculus or the Claridol. So yeah, I don't know what the homunculus wants, or that she would be like, "Don't leave me." Maybe the homunculus gets feelings and has its own agency later on. I don't know. And here we have the reference to, man, both episodes 10 and 10, when Madoka fights the artist witch with Mami, and then Homura watches her for the first time. But also, this is the flames for the final shot that Madoka fires to defeat everything. This is kind of like in apotheosis mode. She has all these crazy flames, or when she fires the one hit KO on Walpurgis Nacht. And yeah, so setting it in this witch that we know of from episode 10. And that clearly indicates that we're going back into Homura's memories. And I think that's what's implied here by putting the previous shot of this, and the "don't leave me," the yell from Homura of "don't leave me," and then coming into this shot of that we're going to go back in time. We're going to be playing in Homura's memories from the series, because certainly this is an amalgamation of Homura's memories from the series. And perhaps that's how you get to the mystery girl character. is that you get this fake Homura watching Homura's memories from the series and then trying to embody that or relive that or do something with that again. Um, yeah, and this glamour shot of Madoka is so good. She's such a badass. Doesn't look at the explosion, but also, why would? Yeah, this is an idyllic representation of Madoka, and it's drawn that way, right? Like she's cooler. Her face is less chibified and umeaoki designs here, and it's more like, oh, it's more like Symphogear. That's kind of what it looks like, and that's justifiable because this is a looking back on a memory where Madoka was meant to be cool, and I love that they changed the character design up for that moment. Oh, the mi watashi ga what is it? Negate kanojo, the girl she wished for, right? That's the girl she wished me to be. Yeah. Or the girl I wished for that girl. Yeah, I think it's I wished for that girl. Oh Lord. Negate, is that it? Nagao? To wish? Oh, Nagao. Nagata Kanajo. So the girl who was wished for. This is, bro, if anything has me excited enough for this film, it's this. Oh, and then you have, oh, I'm sorry. Wait. We have the girl that or the me that the girl wished for. And then you have you have the I wished for girl and the girl that wished for me, or the me that the girl wished for. Like that type of thing. And that contrast, right? The who do you make the wish for versus, who do other people want you to be? Who do you want to be? Anyway, let's get to this shot. Okay, Homucifer does not have the red stripe in her hair. Her right wing is intact. She has the ground below her. This is a different time than the combat scene. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's before she gets shot down or after. I think this is an end scene of the thing. Why? Because what she's doing, she's fucking praying. She's clasping her hands, kneeling, and praying. This is Homucifer praying. Oh, and she does have the red stripe in her hair. Okay, so that's cool. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? I don't know. Top 10 things I was not expecting to see in this film. Homura praying in the same way that Kyoko prays in episode 9. And so maybe that goes with the Christian church symbology that we saw earlier. Maybe there's a come to Jesus moment. Like, I don't know, man. What? We have Red Stripe Homucifer praying. I don't know. And then we have the money shot. we have Walpurgis Nacht clearly here. We have the act of episode 12, like the same exact thing happening in a different, new way with these tendrils here, but with the same, what was it, Kabbalah? What was it, ancient, the Evangelion, like, circle design of heaven, thing with the star in the sky wiping away Walpurgis Nacht. The same exact thing happens. We have an exact same shot. Whether this is the dummy Homura reliving the events of the series, or this is a new thing that Homura does, or Homucifer does, because she repents and she prays. And that's how she defeats Walpurgis Nacht, which is implied. So probably not the truth. But at least it's interesting, right? This is what happens in this show again. that they defeat Walpurgis Nacht. And this is the number one thing that I was interested in this film. I want a return to the triumph of grace. I want I want the love and compassion. If anybody tells me it's wrong to have hope, I'm going to tell them the wrong every time. I want that return. And I think what we're seeing and what we're hearing in this music from Kajira, I think we are getting exactly that. And whether a memory or a redo, a rebuild of Madoka, I don't know. I don't know how the character dynamics are going to play out. I don't know what tangled webs are woven that we are going to get to that end point. But I just saw Homusafer drop to her knees and pray. And then I saw Walpurgis Nacht disappear. So that's all I got for you. That's it. That's gonna be my my thumbnail on this video. I hope it's clickable. Holy shit, guys. That's it. We'll play out the rest of the trailer. That's it. That's it. Oh, I guess I should give you the last couple lines of the trailer here. Oh, yes, we have one last thing to talk about. Yes, they say, let me see who says this, because I want to make sure. Is it Sayaka? In the I think it is Sayaka. Let's see it. Let's listen. Yeah. So that is Sayaka. Yeah, the only one in this universe. Only you is what Sayaka says. And then Homura says, in the middle of that, even if I must rebel against miracles. And this is her. So that's pretty intense. Like, Sayaka was like, you were the only fucking person who did not accept the good end of rebellion. Why? You know, like, holding her to task. And maybe this is the revelation in her confronting Homusafer earlier in the film, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, like, for that sake, I will. And here's the big kicker. This is the biggest question mark in this. Nante Toshi. Okay. That's one, we don't know who says that. I listened to myself and I was like, no, that is not any of the characters we know. Cannot attribute it to it. I was looking on the subreddit. Somebody was speculating that it's Shinbo's voice actor. That is not Shinbo, the director. That is Shinobu, the vampire from Monogatari, which makes sense. She doesn't voice anybody in the main cast of Madoka Magica, and Shaft loves to reuse their voice actors. So absolutely, we would expect that to be, what's her name? I gotta check it. Maya Sakamoto. And that's the voice of a character we do not know. Now, we have not seen this girl talk at all. We do not know what she sounds like. Very well could be this girl. We have not seen, there's this other character that we just saw in Random Nun Girl with her bell. We don't know what her voice is. Other characters, we know all their voices. So unless it's like, you know, a novel character, we can assume maybe this girl. But it sounded like an adult woman, which is weird because Shinobu's a lolly, right? Itoshi. Oh, the other fancy thing about this is she uses the word itoshi, which is spelled, if you use the kanji, it's just like utsukushi, which is beautiful. It's the same kanji as beautiful, utsukushi. But it's itoshi, and it's spelled exactly the same way with the same kanji, but it has a different meaning. It does not mean beautiful or pretty. It is itoshi. Itoshi, which means it has this it has a much more nuanced and complicated meaning. It is yes, lovely, but it's more like beloved or dearest, or like it has this melancholy undertone too that isn't just in those English words of lovely or dear or beloved, but it's like pitiable or pitiful, or or like a curse under that too. Yeah. And it could be like it's somebody clearly admiring the appearance or the state of someone else, but it has this melancholy vibe to it as well. So it's like beautiful in a tragic sense. And it's something that somebody deeply cares for. And then like who's beautiful? Who is saying that to whom? Is it Walpurgis Nacht? Is it this character who has random agency over things that is not a magical girl, that has elements of magical girls that we know? Is it, I don't know, another character? Is somebody else going to become a god? I don't know. But like how beautiful, how pitiable, my dearest. You know, all of that is implied by Nante Itoshi. Like, just how incredibly uh, dramatic and effect. And this is like an, yeah, this is, uh, 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 I'm going to do it right now. I'll do it for peak cinema. Absolute cinema. It's, this movie is already 10 out of 10. And yeah, we're gonna get bamboozled, and yeah, they might leave it open ended, and yeah, there may be more Madoka Magica, but like right now, this has all the elements of going back and mending Rebellion that I talked about in my breakdown of how I would change Rebellion, how I would rearrange it. And I think that this movie could be the thing to redeem Rebellion. That would be crazy. And then, like, if the question is, did Homura do anything wrong? The question is, like, will Homura think that Homura did anything wrong and come around? I don't know. Say a prayer. Friends, lovers, thank you so much for spending this 2.5 almost hours with me. Good Lord, I have to pee so bad. I hope you had a great time discussing this. Please, please, please stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe, like. I'm doing my top 30 episodes. You don't have to watch that shit. Just be on the lookout for more content coming at the end of August for Madoka Magica, Walpurgis Nacht Rising, and everything surrounded with analysis with the film, with talking to other people who have thoughts about the film, and then also just our reactions. Just if you want to meet up with me, if you want to talk to me, if you want to get me on your podcast, whatever, I am here. I am happy to chat. If you want to have a romantic relationship, I'm available. Hit me up. We can chat. I am here. Let's go. What else is going on? Yeah, I think that's everything. Like, favorite, and subscribe. I will see you guys. I will talk to you guys. I will be around. And boy, am I excited to see the redemption of Homura. Good Lord. All right. Till next time.